It was a cool Thursday afternoon when Helen stepped out of the cafe, her hands wrapped around a warm cup of Arabian tea. The bustling city of Lagos never seemed to slow down, and neither did Helen. She had just finished an exhausting day of work at the marketing firm and was looking forward to some peace and quiet at home. As she walked down the busy street, her thoughts wandered. She passed a series of vendors busy with their sales when she heard a soft voice calling out, "Please, ma, can you spare a little change? I haven't eaten all day." Helen's eyes landed on a young woman sitting on the sidewalk, her clothes ragged, her face drawn in exhaustion. The woman looked to be about Helen's age, maybe a little older, and there was something about her that pulled at Helen's heart. She had seen beggars many times before, but there was something different about this one. Helen hesitated for a moment, her instincts warring with the voices in her head. She had always been taught to be careful when it came to giving money to beggars. There were so many scams, and many of the beggars had their own agenda. But the desperation in the woman's eyes was undeniable. "How much do you need?" Helen asked, her voice softer than usual. The woman, with a faint smile, looked up at Helen. "Just something small. Anything you can spare, please." Without thinking much further, Helen reached into her purse and pulled out a few 100 naira notes. She handed them to the woman. "Here," Helen said. "Get something to eat." The woman's eyes lit up with gratitude. "Thank you so much. God bless you, ma." She looked as if she was about to say something more, but Helen was already turning to leave, feeling a sense of satisfaction in having helped. But just before Helen could take another step, the woman called out, "Please wait. Could I talk to you for a moment?" Helen paused, turning back. "Sure, what is it?" The beggar hesitated, then spoke quietly, her voice trembling. "I'm really struggling. I don't have anywhere to sleep tonight, and I don't know what to do. Could you help me find a place? I'll be out of your way once I'm safe." Helen wasn't prepared for the request, but she found herself saying, "I don't know about a place to stay, but maybe I can help you find a shelter." She had heard about some local charities that helped people like the woman, and she felt a growing sense of responsibility. The woman smiled again, but there was something in her eyes, a sharpness, a glint of something hidden that Helen couldn't quite place. Still, her compassion won over her caution, and she offered to call one of the shelters. "Thank you, ma," the woman said again, her voice sweet, almost too sweet. Helen quickly made the call, arranging for a place at a nearby shelter. She could feel her heart warming as she helped the woman, telling herself she was doing a good thing. As she left the scene, the woman's voice followed her. "Thank you so much for your kindness. I won't forget this." Over the next few days, Helen couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. She had tried to push it away, telling herself she was just being paranoid. But a nagging thought lingered in the back of her mind. Why had the beggar been so insistent on having my help? Why hadn't she just gone to the shelter on her own? A week later, Helen's phone rang in the middle of her workday. She looked down at the screen and froze. It was an unknown number. "Hello," she answered, trying to ignore the feeling of unease. "Is this Helen?" a voice asked. It was the beggar. Helen's heart skipped a bit. "Yes, this is Helen. Who is this?" The woman's voice was smooth, almost rehearsed. "It's me, the one you helped on the street. I just wanted to thank you again for your kindness. I got settled at the shelter you found for me, but things have been really difficult." Helen felt a flicker of guilt. She had hoped the woman was doing better. "I'm glad you got help. How is it going?" The beggar hesitated, then spoke again, her tone changing. "Well, it's not enough. The shelter is nice, but it's not safe there. There are people, bad people. They have been threatening me. I don't know who to trust and I'm scared. Could you help me again? Maybe find a place for me to stay, just for a little while until I get back on my feet." Helen felt a pang of sympathy, but something deep inside her felt uncomfortable. "I'm not sure. I can't really give you a place to stay. but maybe I can help you contact someone else. But the woman wasn't taking no for an answer. Please, I really need your help. I am desperate, Helen. You're the only person who has been kind to me. I'll do anything. I just need a place for a few days. I am begging you. The desperation in the woman's voice was palpable, but something about it seemed off. Helen's intuition screamed at her to be cautious. Still, she felt her resolve falter. She didn't want to turn her back on someone in need. Okay, Helen said reluctantly. I'll help you find a temporary place to stay. But I can't do more than that. You have to promise me you will leave after a few days. Of course, the woman's tone was too eager. Thank you so much. I won't forget this. You're a lifesaver. Helen hung up, but as the conversation replayed in her mind, she started to feel uneasy. The woman's gratitude had felt too rehearsed, her need too urgent, as if she was manipulating Helen's compassion. The following day, Helen arranged for the woman to stay in the friend's spare room. She didn't feel completely comfortable with the situation, but she convinced herself she was doing the right thing. Later that evening, Helen received an unexpected message on her social media. It was a photo, one she immediately recognized. It was the beggar smiling and posing with a man Helen had never seen before. The caption read, "Another successful day, thanks to my generous target." Helen's stomach churned. She clicked on the profile, and as she scrolled through the post, her worst fears were confirmed. The woman wasn't a helpless beggar. She was part of a scam group. They had been using pity and false stories to manipulate kind-hearted people like Helen into offering them money, shelter, and home. In some of the posts, the woman had tagged other victims, and in others, she was seen posting with various men, people who were, it seemed, part of the scam. Helen's blood ran cold as the truth hit her like a punch in the gut. Her phone rang again. The beggar was calling once more. Helen picked up, her voice cold now. "I know what you've been doing." There was a brief silence on the other end. Then the woman laughed. "You didn't think it would be that easy, did you? You were just another mark, Helen. Just another one of those good Samaritans who think they can save the world." Helen's hand shook with fury. "How could you do this? You've used my kindness against me." The woman's voice softened, almost mocking. "Oh, come on. You didn't think it would hurt anyone, did you? You helped me and I helped myself. It's just how things work. You should have known better, Helen." Helen hung up, her heart heavy with betrayal. She felt foolish, humiliated. How had she been so blind? Her desire to help had been manipulated into something dark and selfish. Helen never spoke to the woman again. She cut off all contact and even warned her friends about the scam group. She learned the hard way that not everyone who asks for help is truly in need. Over time, Helen reflected on the experience. She had always been a kind person, but now she felt a sharp sting when it came to helping others. The sense of trust she had once extended to strangers was now fractured. It was a lesson she would never forget. Kindness can be manipulated, and sometimes good intentions didn't always lead to good outcomes. Helen swore she would never let herself be taken advantage of like that again. She knew she would continue to help people in need, but she would be more cautious. Her compassion, once freely given, would now be guarded, as she understood all too well the price of kindness. If you were in Helen's shoes, what would you do? Hope you enjoyed this story. See you in my next story.